Hello. Good morning, New Freedom Center from Kankakee, and good morning, Threshold members and family. We have a special treat for you today. I'm going to do my best to try and demonstrate the art of the bonsai. I say it that way because the actual pronunciation of the trees are called bonsais, not bonsai. But as we go, bonsai is an art form that stems from ancient culture originating in China and developed by the Japanese. So about the 13th century, the Japanese started collecting these trees, these potted wild trees that had been dwarfed by nature. These naturally formed trees, miniature trees, were some of the first bonsai. A bonsai is literally a tree in a pot, which further imitates, in a mature version, the appearance of an old tree in nature. So, one point I'll make about these trees is that not all plants are equally effective as bonsai. Um, I got this information, by the way, from an article called The Art of Bonsai from the Virginia Cooperative Extension of Virginia Tech. Mention that. Not all plants are equally effective as bonsai again. To produce a realistic illusion of a mature tree, all parts of the ideal bonsai, trunk, the branches, the leaves, the flowers or fruits, etc., they should be in perfect proportion with the size of the tree. So that's really a big part of it. This is an art form, really, that the Japanese have cultivated for thousands of years, I would say. I had the opportunity to visit an outdoor garden while I was in Florida, and they had a big section of bonsai, some of them being hundreds of years old, huge bonsais. Um, so these are just a sample. So let's talk about the actual cultivating of the bonsai. So you'll notice I have a leafy bonsai, and this one is a little more prickly, kind of like a trees, like a it's a juniper, so it's kind of like pine. It looks kind of like a pine tree almost. And this would be what's considered a deciduous, deciduous type plant, and this would be considered a coniferous, even though this one technically doesn't produce cones. So you always want to have a pair of scissors when you're cultivating the bonsai. You also, it's suggested to have a bottled water because to make it a bonsai healthy, a good suggestion is to mist it daily. And I haven't done that yet, so I'm going to do that very carefully right now. Don't want to get water on the computer. Want to get it really good mist. Um, and same with the leaves. Now the thing about any plant really is the leaves are actually a source of water for it. So by misting the leaves will absorb the water and carry it to the roots. So it's important to do that, especially with bonsai. Now the actual names of these particular bonsai, this is a what's called the rock Jupiter, or I'm sorry, rock juniper. You'll notice if you can see it, um, there's a few rocks in there. It grows well around rocks. This plant or tree is the Golden Gate ficus. It's large. I've had it for gosh several years. I think going back to 2011 maybe. So members, you've probably seen this around the New Freedom Center. Trees in various growth periods. I will say something about the Golden Gate ficus. It's one of the it can be kept indoors or outdoors, and it's also one of the most hardy species. It's very easy to grow, very easy to maintain and take care of. That's why it's a very popular tree. It's good for us who don't always have time to cultivate the bonsai. So let's get back to cultivating. When I keep saying cultivating, I'm talking about the care of the bonsai. My notes for a second, please bear with me. So this particular bonsai here is what's known as an upright style. It's considered to be very easy for the novice bonsai grower like me. The style features a straight trunk and at the bottom branch is lower and extends farther from the trunk than the opposite branch. This bonsai is probably considered a semi-cascade style or possibly a slanting style. You'll notice if you look at closely at the tree trunk, it kind of slants. So it's somewhere in between a slanting style or a semi-cascade style. Um, so I haven't quite figured that out yet. I'm still a novice. I'm not even a beginner, I would say. I'm new to this, even though I've had these plants for so long. Um, the important thing you want to do when you're trimming the leaves, you want, and it's about proportion and making it look like an actual tree. I've kind of neglected this one. Um, so these bottom branches, as they're growing, you want them to stick out further than the top branch. You kind of want to shape it. You can actually, that's what's one of the things that they do with bonsais is they shape it. You can do that best by getting, you can go to a website actually, a bonsai website, and buy these wires, these bendable wires, and you start at the bottom and go around the tree trunk very gently before, and it just shapes the branches. Uh, so this one, this remember this is the straight or the upright style. Say. Um, this one you wouldn't start at the bottom to shape the branches. You could start at the top. Um, so let's get into some practical shaping. So again, I mentioned the bottom. There's some bottom branches there. Show you this bottom branch. I'm going to let that grow as far as it can. I don't want to cut that one at all. I want it to come out and extend further than the top branches. So for this particular bonsai, I'm not going to do much except maybe trim there, um, a couple spots there. Um, just gently shaping it. I'm shaping it into something that looks proportional, maybe a pyramid type shape. Um, and when you're starting out, some people may be scared or fearful that they're going to kill the plant. Just try to remember that it'll grow back. That's what I tell myself. As long as you don't cut, the trunk, you're fine. These you want to just shape it into whatever shape you feel comfortable with, but ideally, kind of a shape that you're comfortable with, but that also gives it proportion. So I'm continuing trimming. This one's kind of slanted, so I want more of the fullness to go in this direction. Um, Trim the outside branches. You don't want to trim too much deeply into the plant. You'll kind of get a feel for it as you're going along, um, which are the newer branches of the tree versus the older branches. Um, but again, um, as long as you don't take away too much, just a little bit at a time, you're okay. This is a delicate art. Uh, it's one that you can get better with time. So that's an example. Let's go to ficus, the Golden Gate ficus. Now this one I've not been shaping well neither. I don't spend a lot of time shaping. That's something I'll improve in, but I see a dead branch already here. I can just cut that one right off. So let's see. I want to shape this. So you see how it's imbalanced. Balance is so key in the Japanese art of bonsai. It's really key in a lot of their culture. So we want to maybe cut some of this side off. I can cut a big piece off. See there? Um, cut that piece there. Let's see. See this big branch here? I'm going to trim that back. What else? There's a longer branch. Cut that. And remember, this is a very hardy breed of a bonsai. So I've had this for 11 years. If you've seen it in the new Freedom Center before, recently it was almost dying, literally. The leaves, it had no green on it hardly. And I've managed to bring it back because that's how hardy it is if you take care of it. So again, continuing to shape it into proportion and a nice, just a good view that is appealing. So that's the big one. Maybe I'll trim. I can show you this one's sticking out too. So now we have something that looks a little more like a tree, and that's one of the goals of bonsai. Last thing I'll mention, as far as watering, which of course is very key. Um, Again, do your own research on them. Each plant is different, but watering, like for this one, it's recommended to leave a little bit of water in the bottom to allow the roots to reach down, if that makes sense, and kind of soak it up. Um, this tree does not need as much water because it's so hardy and it grows well with minimal effort. So I water it maybe once every 3 days, ideally, and that's good. It's recommended for some plants. You soak the whole root system, and allow the water to seep out. So that's all I got for today, members. I hope you enjoyed this demonstration. Have a great day and a great weekend.